it's true. I'd rather be right here with you. Nothing else matters right now. It's just you and me, boy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing okay, and I hope you are ready for a very Taylor Swift vlog. So basically, in today's video, we are going to be going over my 13 top tips for going to the Eras tour. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe. Okay, so a little bit of context before we go into the video. I actually got tickets for Edinburgh Night 1 of the Eras tour, and that was for general admission, standing. It was a very long show, so depending on the tickets you have will depend on the sort of experience you might have while you're there, but I think for the most part, even the people that were seated were standing for most of the show. But yeah, I was down in the middle of the pits, completely standing. I was in a relatively good position. I'll show you some clips of little bits of videos that I managed to capture while I was there. I also did a whole vlog on going to the Eras tour, which I'll leave for you guys to see. But yeah, I was relatively close to the front. Definitely not the barricade, I wasn't that early, but it wasn't a bad view. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, I thought I would share some of my top tips, my 13 top tips, because let me tell you, I did a lot of learning, and I wish I'd watched people's tips because I didn't. And yeah, I may have been able to improve my experience if I'd done these things. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so top tip number 1, and this was actually something I did do and I was so grateful for, is go and get your merch the day before your concert. If this is at all possible, definitely go do it. So I know that a lot of the merch stands actually open for the day before the concerts actually start. So obviously I was at Edinburgh Night 1, but me and my sister Holly actually queued up for our merch the day before. I think that queue probably took us about 45 minutes to get to the front of, but technically that was within the stadium. So yeah, you need to have tickets to be able to get in, but you didn't on the night before, if that makes sense. So on the day before, you don't need to have tickets to get your merch. So we literally just queued up to get our merch then. What it meant was that we were able to avoid getting merch in massive queues on the day of the concert. So when we came in for the concert, we literally just walked straight to the area we needed to be at. We didn't have to waste time trying to get to those queues, because it would have taken ages, and it meant we wouldn't have been able to get as good a spot going in that next day. So it made a lot of sense. I got 2 t-shirts at the concert, so this one, and then I got the same one in white. I'll just show you guys how it looks. So this is the t-shirt on. This is a large, and it is quite big, but the material is super, super soft, super cute. I am literally just obsessed with it. It is so nice and cozy to wear. But yeah, this was the large. I quite like my tops oversized, but if you like yours more regular, I'm a size 10, 8 to 10. And this is how it looks on me. So you could probably go down to a medium if you don't like the oversized fit. Okay, so along the same lines, tip number 2 is that you should definitely make sure you can prep everything you can the night before. So me and Holly the night before actually spent ages ironing our outfits, making sure everything was kind of as we wanted. We literally hung them up ready to go with the matching kind of underwear packed ready to go as well. We also pre-planned a lot of our makeup looks. So on the day, we knew exactly what we were doing and we had everything ready. So there wasn't any stresses or dramas whilst we were actually getting ourselves sorted on the day. We also made sure to wash our hair the nights before and blow dry it. So again, we didn't have to do that in the morning. And we also packed our handbags the night before as well. So literally everything we needed was good to go. So we could just wake up and start the process. We didn't have to faff about, which I really appreciated. Same to be said with sorting out your tickets. So I had mine downloaded as a Apple Wallet download. that was a bit of a lifesaver because there were a lot of people that were trying to access them via the Ticketmaster app and basically couldn't because they weren't loading, because obviously everyone's trying to access their tickets. So having them downloaded to my Apple Wallet was so much faster, so much speedier than the other option. So I do really recommend making sure all of that is sorted the night before, so you just don't have any dramas when you're getting ready in the morning and you can just focus on having an amazing time. Okay, tip number 3. This kind of goes without saying, but at the same time, I didn't do it and that was a mistake. Empty your phone. You do not want to run out of storage, and I did in the concert. It literally happened to me. And I remember thinking before going into the concert, like, no, it wouldn't happen. It never happened to me, it's fine. And it did, and it happened in the middle of my surprise song, which was Would've, Could've, Should've. So like, you can imagine the stress. Just delete things, like delete any fashion apps that you have. You can literally re-download them, like it's not that deep. Any apps that you've got, get rid of them. Any old videos you have, old photos you have, just get rid of it all, because you do not want that to happen to you on the day. So yeah, that would be my recommendation, is just get rid of everything you don't need, get it off there, because the last thing you want is to, yeah, be in my position where I was literally in the concert trying to delete stuff off my phone. It was so far from ideal. Okay, so tip number 4, do make sure to get in the queues early, especially if you want to be near the front. You do have to get there quite early. So we actually got in the queues at about 2-ish, kind of about like 1:30, 2-ish, and we got pretty good spots. But you do have to get there early to get a good spot. Like, I cannot stress that enough. When you're in the queues, it's a great opportunity to film little TikToks, have a bit of fun, but people do tend to get a bit grumpier in the queue from about 3 p.m. onwards. The people at the front of the queues were all very relaxed, very chill, but yeah, when me and my mum tried to go out just to get some water, people were trying to not let us back into the queue afterwards, even though we'd been there quite a while and my sisters were there still. I guess, you know, there's a whole variety of opinions on this one, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's worth knowing that from about 3 p.m. people tend to be very grumpy towards the back of the queue, and the queues to come in at that point as well are absolutely massive, and you don't want to be stood in there. Like, we literally walked straight into the queue when we came in at 1:30, so I do really recommend that. And you can sit down while you're in the queue, so you can rest your feet before going into the concert, so don't let that put you off being in the queue. That being said, if you don't manage to get into the queue early, and you know, don't have as great a spot at the stadium, I definitely would also recommend just going and standing near the back, because your view's going to be a lot better. You're going to be able to dance, have a lot more fun. I kind of said to myself going in that if I didn't have a decent spot, I was just going to go to the back, and luckily I did have a pretty good spot and I was literally able to see Taylor so close. But if I didn't have that, I think I would have gone straight to the back, because other than that, because I'm quite short, I literally couldn't see anything and it just wasn't worth it. Okay, so top tip number 5, I would definitely recommend that you go in comfy shoes. Now, I love cowboy boots like the rest of the girls, I genuinely do, but the amount of girls that I saw having to try and sit down in the middle of the concert because their feet were beginning to hurt so much, like, I felt really bad for them. Yeah, I decided that actually I'd be a lot more comfortable just wearing my trainers. I didn't decide that it was worth it, and I didn't feel like the cowboy boots went that well with my outfit anyway. But I would seriously stress to anyone thinking about wearing uncomfortable shoes, just don't do it. It is not worth it. You're going to be on your feet. People are like, oh, you're going to be on your feet for 3 hours. It is actually longer, because you get into the stadium at 4, you can't really sit around anywhere. And Paramore's on at 6 and the concert goes on literally till 10:30, so you're going to be on your feet for a really long time. Just do not wear the uncomfy shoes. It's not worth it. On the same lines, make sure, sorry, this is Nelly, make sure that you bring a jacket if you think you're going to feel the cold. A lot of people around us didn't have jackets. And yeah, they were getting very cold and very kind of just fed up. So definitely bring a jacket for yourself. It is worth it. You can get away with bringing like an A4 size bag, at least in our stadium you could. So there's enough room to bring a little jacket, and I think it's a good idea because yeah, a lot of people really felt the cold before the concert actually began. So tip number 6 is to make sure that you eat a lot of food in the morning. It makes a big difference, and that was kind of our tactic going in, was that we knew we wanted to get there early. We knew we weren't going to have much time for a big lunch, so we thought basically we would have a really big breakfast, and that would kind of help us manage our hunger. So we literally had like a big fry up breakfast. I think I actually had smoked salmon on scrambled eggs, if I'm thinking right. Like, it was a lot of food. And we also had a lot of like hot drinks, coffee, things like that, and water first thing in the morning, which really helped to manage our hunger as we were going in. So then when we came into the concert, we literally, just before the queue, crammed in some lunch and then got queuing. You can't have food in the queue, which is really frustrating. But yeah, once you've eaten that lunch just before you go in the queue, you should be able to, with the excitement of being there, be able to hold your hunger. And then when we left, we literally went and got food, which was a great choice. So my next tip, number 7, I saw online loads of people talking about the need to have ear protection, and I did get myself some of the loop ear protectors. And to be honest, I didn't really like them. I had given them a go. I put them in. They definitely blocked out the sound. So if that's what you're after, they definitely do that. The issue I had with them was when I go to concerts, I really do like to sing and join in. And when you've got the ear protectors in, it means you can hear yourself a lot louder than you can hear the musician. So I think they'd work really well if you're not someone that likes to sing along at a concert, but I am, and it just didn't work for me. I think I had them in for the first 3 songs with Paramore, and then I had to just take them out because I couldn't get over the sound of me singing, even though I wasn't even singing loudly at all. I just hated the way it was. Yeah, I didn't love them. Obviously, if you genuinely need ear protectors, go for it. But if you feel like you need them because everyone on TikTok is saying you need them and you don't go to concerts that often, you'll probably be okay not. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm not a healthcare professional or anything, but that was kind of like my big takeaway. Of all the things I brought for the Eras Tour, that was probably the least needed item that I brought. Okay, so top tip number 8, obviously there are a lot of chants in the kind of like Taylor Swift, Swiftie fandom. It's okay if you don't know them all. I was really stressed about not knowing them all, and I kept trying to learn them like kind of in the weeks leading up to the tour. If I'm being honest, not that many people did the chants anyway. When I kind of did do the chants, there wasn't that many people around me also doing them. I think the only one that I vividly heard was Reputation. There might have been a few others that were kind of that, but genuinely not that many people were doing them. So don't stress yourself out over the chants. Obviously, if you want to join in chants, go for it. But like, this is not something you need to stress yourself out over. It is not a big thing. It's not going to be the end of the world if you don't know it or you don't get it perfectly right. Shout out to the girl who had me sing the bridge to Cruel Summer a bit too early. That was an embarrassing moment, let me tell you. I just got a bit too caught up in my feels. Wasn't great. But yeah, everyone around you is really nice. So if you say a chant or a bridge at the wrong time, it is going to be okay. And also, you don't need to stress yourself out about knowing them all. I think if you come to the tour with the right energy, feeling positive, and just enjoying every minute of it, you will literally be okay. So top tip number 9, have a little think about the TikToks and social media posts you want to do before you actually get there. I didn't fully do this. I collected a load in kind of like my folder on TikTok, but I hadn't picked out exactly which ones I wanted to do. So me and Holly spent quite a while in the morning practicing TikToks, which wasn't great. It would have been good if we'd practiced them and been ready to do them a few days in advance, but we actually spent quite a while trying to learn them, which was just very frustrating. What I wish I'd done was, pick kind of the key ones that I wanted to do, and kind of practice them so that literally on the morning we could hammer them out straight away. I feel like that would have been a little bit easier. Aside from doing them like first thing in the morning, another good way to go about it is to do a lot of your TikToks and your social media posts when you're in the queue. I found that to be kind of the best time to do it. You don't really have anything else to do. The vibes are really positive. You can kind of see the stadium in the background, which I quite liked. I just really recommend that as the time to do it. I feel like as well, because you're sat there for quite a while, you can kind of brainstorm new ideas while you're sat there. So that would be my top tip. So number 10 is to actually be brave and give out your friendship bracelets. The amount of people I saw that had definitely made friendship bracelets but didn't have the guts to give them out, myself included, because I did that, it broke my heart a little bit, and I kind of gutted at myself too. I definitely made a lot of friendship bracelets and I was just not willing to talk to people to give them out. I felt really awkward about it, and I just didn't have the guts to kind of go up to someone and ask if they wanted to exchange friendship bracelets. Found it really stressful. So yeah, I think my top tip for everyone else is genuinely just be brave, give it a go. Ask someone, exchange friendship bracelets. I wish I'd had the guts to do it. It's worth it. Genuinely, it is worth it, I reckon. I'm really gutted, and I think it's probably one of my biggest regrets going to the tour was that I didn't have the guts to just speak to people and do that. So do it if you've got the, if you can, be brave, give it a go. I think my opinion is that everyone there wanted to, we just none of us had the guts to do it. So I think if you're brave enough, you should do it 100%. Okay, so my next top tip number 11, is from about 5:30. That is kind of like the cut-off point for toilet breaks. So I only went to the toilet once whilst entering the stadium, and that was literally as I walked through the doors straight to the toilet, then I got my spot. That was pretty good timing because the queues for the toilet weren't that bad. Aside from that, from about 5:30, it was like all of a sudden everyone just pushed forward quite a lot. There was like a little bit of shuffling, people slowly moving forward a bit, but at 5:30 it literally felt like everyone just suddenly pushed forward. And you could just see that people who had friends that were in the bathroom, they couldn't find each other at all. People were moving around, things were getting a bit complicated. It just, it got really messy really fast. And from that point as well, because everyone had to push forward, people really weren't that happy when others were trying to get into their friends. To me, I just think you should just let everyone get past, and like, it's just not that deep. It's not worth having an argument over. If I'd lost my friends, I'd want to find them. But I also think it's best to be safe. So if you're going, just try your best to make sure you've gone to the toilet before that big push. And like I said, for us, I think it happened around 5:30. Everyone just suddenly pushed forward. It was a little bit scary. But after that point, everyone seemed to be a little bit more agitated whenever someone would try and get back to their friendship groups. So worth knowing. Okay, so top tip number 12. One of the things that I wish I did, but I didn't actually do, was actually take some TikToks after the concert. I don't think there's a big rush to leave the stadium. The queues getting out are going to be bad anyway, and if you're like me, missing the end of the show is not an option. So yeah, I stayed till the end, and I think, to be honest, I could have just waited around in the stadium a little bit and let the queues die off. Would have been a lot easier. And I think if you're doing that, you could definitely go in and just take some cute TikToks, cute pictures, whilst everyone is leaving and it's just emptying out. I think it's so worth it. And I think it helps you feel like the experience is like continuing a little bit. I don't see there being like any rush to suddenly leave. Like, just enjoy the moment and fill it with like some fun activities rather than rushing into like massive crowds, because it's just not worth it. Okay, and then top tip number 13, my final top tip, kind of along the same lines. If you are able to walk home, which I know is not possible for a lot of other people, but if you're able to walk home or walk to your hotel, I really recommend it. Our hotel was about an hour's walk away from the stadium, but the queues for the trams were absolutely huge. Like, you actually, from where the stadium was, there was the tram stop. You couldn't get out the stadium to get to the tram stop. Your only option really was to walk. Which obviously, if you've got comfy shoes on like I did, that was okay. I did feel for anyone that had quite sore feet that day because, yeah, it was just absolute carnage. But yeah, I totally recommend just walking back to your hotel. It's a lot easier and it's relatively safe, if I'm being honest, because a lot of people were walking in the same direction. It was literally like just walking in a big gaggle of Taylor Swift fans, Swifties. Like, it felt very safe. It felt very wholesome. I was definitely still riding the high of the concert. But yeah, I definitely say, for the most part, public transport is just not it on that night. It's going to be heaving. It's not going to be fun. You're going to have to push to get into the queues. Like, it's a bit chaotic. So my recommendation is always to just walk if you can. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this video. If you've got any of your own top tips from when you went to the Eras tour, then definitely drop them down in the comments below. Super keen to hear them. I am hoping I should be able to go to the Eras tour again. My littlest sister got tickets of her own because she couldn't come when we were going because she had her history exam. Good luck, by the way. So yeah, she's actually got a pair of tickets and she's invited me to go with her. I will try and vlog some of that as well. I thought it'd be good to get some of these top tip videos out now so you can see them. And yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed it. Obviously, if you have and you want to stick around for some more of my videos, I would love that. You can subscribe. It literally does mean the entire world to me, so like, seriously, thank you. And yeah, if you are still here by the end of this video, I do have a little tradition where you can comment an emoji. So why don't we comment a little heart emoji like that if you are still here at this point in the video. And yeah, I cannot wait to see you all next time, and yeah, I will see you very, very soon. Bye guys.